rejoice in giving. So he was told to give. So what did he do? He thought for a long time. Kitna dena? 1 trillion, 1 billion, 1 billion. For Bill Gates, why? And 1 billion is like for me, 1 rupee. So he gave 1 rupee. And he made a big fuss about it, doing charity. What charity? He gives you money, but it comes back to his company. So after some years, there was a study done on Bill Gates' charity, which is published in the Lancet, a medical journal, which says what horrible man he is. If he gives 1 rupee, he gets back 10 rupees for his company. This man, see, there are people, there was another rich man who could buy Bill Gates. He didn't know that. His name is Warren Buffett. He's a chairman of 43 companies, but he doesn't have a single company meeting. When he selects a CEO for the company, he thinks for 1 month. Once he selects the CEO, the next he sees him or contacts him after 1 year with a letter. He says, "Dear so-and-so, see that you don't lose money for your shareholders. 2, if possible, improve that. 4, do your duty." Warren, that's all. He has not met any one of his CEOs. And he is the richest man. He was till very recently. Now Bill Gates has become richer. Howard Hughes is also like that. No, Bill Gates, so Warren Buffett one day calls Bill Gates for an appointment. His secretary says, "No, he's so busy. Next 6 months you can't see him." He says, "I just want 2 minutes, just want to see his face." He said, No, it's not possible. He's so busy. Then he says, "Can I talk to him?" She says, "No, you can't talk to him." So the old man one day goes to his office, straight away goes to his office and walks into the office. And he says, he didn't know who he was. And he said, "I just want 1 minute of your time," he said. "Okay." Bill Gates was upset, but he said, "Okay, sit down." He said, "I don't want to even sit down. I've just got a check. You are supposed to be doing a lot of charity. I want to give something to your charity, but don't put my name." Bill Gates gave 1 billion. This fellow gave a check for 37 billion. Bill Gates was almost about to collapse. Then he stood up and made him sit down, talked to him for 5 hours. Then he told him, "Don't put my name, don't do anything. You just do some good things to society." That's the difference between a true philanthrope and a man who behaves like a philanthrope. So that is how society runs. Now come back to our drugs. What happens? Once you take any drug in its natural form, the body immediately says, "This is mine. I know. My grandfather has eaten it. It's like rice or it's like wheat." So it is immediately taken in. So the MIT study or the mitochondrial chip study showed that it is the body's intelligence and the energy that runs the system and not the drugs. And all that the modern drugs could do is ADR, adverse drug reactions. The biggest killer of mankind today is not a gun. It's not a plane falling down. You would be surprised in America alone, whose population is little over the population of probably Nagpur. Not Nagpur. 300 million, around less than 300 million. 4 jumbo jets full of people die every week due to drugs. If 1 jumbo jet falls down in this world, there will be news for 2 months in all the television, 24 hours 7. And every week, 4 jumbo jets fall down. And these people unnecessarily die by what is called iatrogenesis, doctor-induced illness, through our biggest weapons of mass destruction, about which I have written with the caption called Weapons of Mass Destruction in the British Medical Journal, the drugs, chemical drugs. So friends, avoid as many chemical drugs as is possible. I had a colleague of mine, professor of psychology. Some of you may have been. His name is K.B. Kumar, Professor Kumar, who was at one time the president of the Behavioral Society. He is now in Hyderabad. This boy was so good, I tell you, I took him as the professor. And within about 2 years, the psychiatry department was empty. No patient was going to the psychiatry department. This fellow had to sit till about 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning to finish his patient load. So the psychiatrist started complaining about him, writing memos about him. He is very bad. He is grabbing our patients. I said, nobody can grab a patient. If a patient wants to go somewhere, he goes. How can you say? So somehow or other they managed to keep him till I was there. The day I retired, they somehow maneuvered and threw him out. Can you believe that? The best doctor was thrown out. Anyway, he got a better job. And he is now he is almost the king of whatever he surveys. And still the same humble soul. And that's why I like this psychiatrist. Psychiatrists have become real drug dispensing machines. Just because they have no patience. The minute he says, I had no sleep last 2 nights, then he says, are you feeling fine? No, doctor, I no enthusiasm. Right, he'll start with an antidepressant. And when will that end? Grave. This is the problem. This is the problem. So this is where a psychiatrist, a professor of psychiatry in America, she was young, energetic, and was like our friend. She wrote a book called Dementia, a drug-induced crime on mankind by doctors. And she published this book. Her name is Grace Elizabeth Jackson. She was thrown out of the medical college. She was in the Naval Medical College as the professor of psychiatry. She was thrown out of the Navy. She was thrown out of the medical college, thrown on the road. But this book is getting her millions of dollars, and she's invited all over the world to lecture. And her lecture fees is such that, one lecture she can, 10 months salary comes in one lecture. So this girl is very happy. But what I'm saying is, this is how the world is. 1968, I wrote a small article called Unconventional Wisdom in Medicine. When did I write it? 1968. And my department sat together and said, this is a nut. He must be thrown out. So they proposed that I be dismissed. But anyway, that then dean probably was a nut himself, so he didn't dismiss me. So I survived by the skin of my teeth. This happens. This very much happens in this world. So it is very difficult to fight for a truth. I don't want to call it the truth, because Khalil Gibran said, never say the truth. It's a truth. And it become different later on, because truth is not something which is stationary. Truth changes. And a truth, even if you fight for a truth, it is difficult. So I like Prabodh and his gang. I can't be naming each one of you because it takes so much of time. Look at this boy, young boy. I like him. He's very, very good. And very versatile too. Everyone. That girl, oh my God, she was very good, that ophthalmologist. And look at this girl, she's very good. Each one is so good, I tell you. They're so nice. And it has made my day coming here. It's made my day. I was telling Ankit that, all that should not happen in a hotel room happened to me. It happened. But I was enjoying each one of that. Because I did some research. When I went to this room, there was no faucet in the toilet to wash your bottom. I thought this must be the highest, because even in the American 7-star hotels, you don't have a faucet. So you will search for it. But at least they have a paper. You don't know about that? An American came to Madras, and he was very fond of Madras curries. So he took his wife and went to one of the RR restaurants. In Chennai, RR restaurants are Andhra restaurants. And there, if X is the spicy level of Madras curry, 3X is the spicy level of Andhra curry. So he ordered for chili chicken. And he was tasting it. His wife said, my God, I can't touch it, honey. It's so hot. No, it's very good. Give it to me. He had her share also. So he finished the whole lot. Nothing happened. He went and they slept. And next morning, he was in the toilet, shouting at his wife, honey, now I know why the Indians use water for ablution. If they were to use paper like us, it would catch fire. Anyway, then I didn't know what to do. This hotel was so sophisticated, they didn't have a mug, they didn't have a bucket. And all that they had was a little glass for drinking water. So I tried to fill water in that and spill it. It spills on the side. So I did a research. I ordered for a bottle of mineral water, full bottle of mineral water. Stored it in my heating bowl, that tea maker, and used this. And I tell you, it's so effective. So it took them about 12 hours to fix up the faucet. Now it's fixed. Then the television was not running if you wanted to see something. Then I said, the television doesn't run. I am from a village, so I don't know how to put it. So I called the man. He said, yeah, it's very easy. Ammayega, aya, kuch nahi hua. Then he said, I'll send the IT man. This morning the IT man come. It was not working. Then ultimately somebody came just now when Ankit was there, and he started my television set. But I again thank God because I had complete rest. Otherwise, I would have been seeing something, unnecessary things in the television and wasting my time. So life is like that. Life is to be taken as it comes. And you must know who you are. This is the most important. Let me tell you. You must know who you are, what your abilities are,